Everyone. So my name is Sergio Macias Vasquez, and my presentation today is about how my story is now contextualized as a result of taking this class. So I'm a physics student here at Duke. I also am minoring in CS. I'm also a class of 2022, so I'm graduating this year. And I'm a Rubenstein scholar. So that means I came into this university a summer before everyone with a cohort of my fellow scholars. And we, all identify as first generation low income. And what I came into this class thinking I knew was my own unique identity and how I've thought about, my background. I grew up in Los Angeles, but halfway through elementary school, I went to Mexico and I lived in my family's hometown in Michoacan. And that was a really crazy experience because I lived in two different worlds growing up. And when we came back, as I was finishing up fifth grade, I came back not knowing as much English as I did before and struggling with my accent. And I realized a lot about the standard American English. And I really adopted that as a result of being teased about it at school. And so I've had a variety of different hardships like this where I also came in to the US homeless, living in somebody else's floor. And that also drastically, forms my opinion of my story and who I am and how I'm now in a private elite institution in the United States that, houses a variety of different students, but primarily those with a background not similar to mine, at least socioeconomically. And so as a result of that, I've understood that, there are privileges that I have, but also there's some, disadvantages that I've come across. And I think this course has given me the ability to contextualize that even deeper through history and through the events that are going on as well. So as you can see here, I kind of created a word diagram with just a variety of different descriptions of who I am, short 1 or 2 word descriptions of who I am, and the things that I'm interested in as well. And when I look at that, I see somebody with a background that's unique. And I think that that's something that this class has given me is the ability to see myself as a unique individual with a context that should be understood, at least by me. And that has given me a lot of confidence as I've, realized that I should be worthy of appreciating my own uniqueness. And so these are kind of stickers that symbolize my interests as well. I'm a physics, yes, student, Mexican American, you get the gist. And that brings me to the second topic of today, which is how, despite having similar circumstances, us as individuals can have drastically different experiences. I read the book called The Privileged Poor, and that gave me the opportunity to see my own experience at Duke through this lens of being a doubly disadvantaged student, as the book calls it, because the way elite universities hedge their bets against low income students is that half of the students that are low income, they choose to come from privileged kind of private institutions, so maybe private high schools, whereas they really hedge their bets against the lower students where they came from lower public schools where maybe they didn't have as many resources. The things universities have found is that those students end up performing worse due to culture shock and end up having a difficult trouble adjusting to the environment, which is really just saying, adjusting to a privileged environment and empathizing with the stories that are laid out in that book, as well as just kind of the difficulty of not feeling like people can empathize, right? Neither back home can people understand what your struggles are because nobody in your family has ever maybe gone to college or has that socioeconomic background that you're constantly dealing with in this new elite institution. But also in that new elite institution, the majority of people don't relate with you. And so learning about that specific aspect that I relate with has given me the opportunity to empathize with a variety of other unique identities as we've laid out in the course. Moreover, I also read the book Race After Technology by Ruha Benjamin. She also called it the New Jim Code, what basically kind of laid out how, these different standards in society, specifically the one on race, affect the way that technology is used by different users. And so even though the same product can be used by a variety of different people, there can be different drastic experiences by those users. And so what has that basically led me to is, how can I one day change the way that the text-based interfaces with its diverse employees, because that will help change the code that is written. But also, you know, how can we consider more diverse users and edge cases for unique identities that maybe aren't usually identified, right? And so I've kind of been able to reflect outside of class as well, on my as well as on my own, on approaches to doing what I just mentioned. But also, I've really thought about this quote that's always been repeated in class, which is language matters, and what we say and how we say it really matters. And so I would love to see that specifically in text to speech technologies, or speech chatbots like Siri and things like that. How is diversity in language and how things are said, how can that data of audio data be used, to create new, more inclusive, tech interfaces like Siri and things like that. And so, yeah, that basically wraps up my entire presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much.